The Crossfires were known as the Night Riders after high school before becoming the Turtles with a Y instead of a U, a deliberately styled misspelling influenced by the Byrds and the Beatles. In 1963, they issued a record on the local Capco label called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde slash Fiberglass Jungle. Following the current musical trend, they renamed themselves the Turtles, which slightly different from the original one. It was spelled Tyrteles, add the E in the spelling, and they relaunched themselves as a folk rock band. The popular spelling, however, did not last long. They discarded the saxophones to become the band's vocalist when the band style shifted from surf to folk rock. The Turtles, like the Byrds, had their breakthrough with a cover of a Bob Dylan song. The title tune of the band's debut album, It Ain't Me Babe, entered the Billboard Top 10 late summer 1965. In early 1966, their second song, Let Me Be, charted in the top 30, while their third single, You Baby, charted in the top 20. You Baby, with its intricate vocal harmonies and lively speed, would prove to be pivotal in the band's sound, as it saw them move away from political Byrd-style folk rock and into chamber pop and simple pop music. The band's second album, You Baby, failed to chart on Billboard's top LPs, while two of the band's 1966 singles, Grim Reaper of Love and Can I Get to Know You Better, barely made the Billboard Hot 100. One song, Warren Zevon's Gritty Outside Chance, which featured guitar work in the style of the Beatles' Taxman, failed to chart. The Turtles had an on-screen appearance in Universal's beach party espionage parody film Out of Sight in 1966 singing She'll Come Back. Drummer Don Murray and bassist Chuck Ports left the band at the start of 1966. Joel Larson and then John Barbata took over on drums, and Chip Douglas took over on bass in October 1966. Happy Together, the first of three crucial Turtle singles co-written by Gary Bonner and Alan Gordon, had already been rejected by a slew of artists. Happy Together, the Turtles' biggest hit and signature song, marked a watershed moment for both the band and Chip Douglas, who composed the arrangement. In the spring of 1967, the track debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, replacing the Beatles' Penny Lane. The lone number 1 for the Turtles stayed there for 3 weeks. The same named album followed, peaking at number 25. The single Happy Together charted at number 12 in the United Kingdom. This same year saw the Turtles perform this title song composed by John Williams for the 20th Century Fox film A Guide for the Married Man. Michaels Nesmith met Chip Douglas after a Turtles concert at the Whiskey A Go-Go and encouraged him to become the Monkees' new producer, as the band wished to break out of their produced studio mold. Douglas agreed and then departed the Turtles, eventually producing 3 Monkees albums, and these are the following 3 albums. Starting with Headquarters, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Jones Ltd. from 1967, and co-producing the Byrds, the Bees, and the Monkees from 1968. Jim Pons took over on bass for Douglas. Other singles, all penned by Gordon and Bonner, followed Happy Together, making 1967 a very profitable year for the Turtles. In late spring, a follow-up, The Brassy She'd Rather Be With Me, hit number 3 on the US charts and outcharted Happy Together internationally, reaching number 4 in the UK. 2 top 15 hits followed, You Know What I Mean and She's My Girl. The band's style was psychedelic on both 45s. Later that year, Golden Hits was published and charted in the top 10. The Turtles' identical album covers Dean Torrance of Jan Dean designed Golden Hits and its sequel, More Golden Hits. Jim Tucker, the band's rhythm guitarist, quit in 1967, citing the pressures of traveling and recording new songs. He relocated to Grass Valley and worked as an electrical contractor. He has denied leaving the band because John Lynn was hostile to him, as vocalist Kalen has alleged. The first 2 singles, Sound Asleep and The Story of Rock and Roll, charted in the middle of the top 100 in 1968. When Chip Douglas returned to work with the band in the studio, their fortunes altered. Late in 1968, the band released The Turtles Present The Battle of the Bands, a concept album in which they pretend to be 11 different bands, with fanciful names like The Big Brothers, Nature's Children, The U.S. Teens featuring Raul, and The Fabulous Dogs, each with a song in a different genre. The 2 singles were released from the album, Eleanor and You Showed Me, both peaking at number 6. Eleanor also charted at number 7 in the United Kingdom. Despite the popularity of both singles, they did not contribute to the album sales, which peaked at number 128 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart. The Byrds' Gene Clark and Roger, then Jim McGuinn, wrote the 1964 smash You Showed Me in 1964. It was their final top 10 hit. They made a television debut on The Mike Douglas Show in February 1968, and they returned in April 1969. Turtle Soup, a critically acclaimed LP produced by Ray Davies of the Kinks, was released around the end of 1969. This was Davies' only released production effort for another band, and it was inspired by the Kinks' 1968 concept album, The Kinks Are the Village Green Preservation Society, although Davies had previously produced demo recordings for the Ivies. Somewhere Friday Night and Love in the City are two notable tunes. Despite good reviews in the music press, Turtle Soup's economic success was limited and the band soon disbanded. Kalin and Volman, long disillusioned with their record company and its mounting financial troubles at this point, opposed White Whale's efforts to convert the Turtles into anything like an assembly line pop group. For example, the early Monkees. Kalin and Volman were allegedly urged by the label to fire the rest of the band, tour with hired musicians, and produce albums by adding their voices to background tracks recorded by Memphis studio players. Such pressure persuaded the band to record Who Would Ever Think That I Would Ever Marry Margaret as a single, which they later discarded. In 1970, the Turtles ended their career with a second compilation album, More Golden Hits, and a B-sides and rarities album, Wooden Head. With the collapse of the Turtles, White Whale Records lost its main moneymaker, and it was left with few commercially viable acts and eventually went out of business. T-Rex used Flo Kalin and Eddie Volman for background vocals on numerous of his songs. When White Whale's master recordings were auctioned off in 1974, the pair purchased the Turtles records. They licensed the tunes to Sire Records, which released them as part of a collection titled Happy Together Again. They began hosting their radio program and recording soundtrack music for children's shows in the 1980s. Flo and Eddie sang backup vocals on Alice Cooper's Flush the Fashion LP and Bruce Springsteen's Hungry Heart from the River. Get Crazy, a rock and roll comedy starring Malcolm McDowell and Daniel Stern featuring Howard Kalin. Kalin and Volman officially recovered the use of the moniker The Turtles in 1983 and started touring as The Turtles with Flo and Eddie. The Turtles embarked on a Happy Together tour in the United States in 1984 alongside Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, Spanky and Our Gang, and The Association. Kalin and Volman performed in a new music video for their song Happy Together in 1987 to promote John Malkovich's romantic comedy Making Mr. Right. De La Soul's 1989 first album included an uncredited sample from the Turtles' You Showed Me song in the song Transmitting Live from Mars. Kalin and Volman filed a lawsuit, obtained a significant payment, establishing a legal precedent, and forcing the music business to begin properly acknowledging and paying royalties for sampled works on rap and other recordings. In 2009, it was falsely stated that Volman was involved in another lawsuit against rapper Gucci Mane over an unlawful sample. The sample of Keep It Warm used in Mane's Lemonade was cleared legally before the song's release. Happy Together, a romantic comedy starring Patrick Dempsey and Helen Slater, debuted in 1989. The Turtles' performance of Happy Together was featured in both the film and the soundtrack CD. The song was featured in the end credits of the 2005 film Imagine Me and You, whose title was inspired by the opening line of the song Happy Together. In 1991, Music Club Records published Happy Together, The Best of the Turtles, a Turtles anthology in the United Kingdom. In 1993, Repertoire Records in Germany issued their collection Eleanor, as well as a re-release of the original Happy Together album. Rhino Records also released Captured Live, a live CD from their 1992 tour that same year. In 1994, Sundays Records reissued all of the Turtles' original albums and published Happy Together, the best of White Whale Records in 1999, which contains several of the Turtles singles. The song Happy Together was used frequently in the 2002 film adaptation to depict the closeness of the two brothers Kaufman, both played by Nicolas Cage. The movie concludes with the Turtles' rendition of the final credits scroll and time-lapse photography. Save the Turtles' Greatest Hits, a new Turtles compilation CD, was released in 2009 on their own Floed co-label and distributed by Manifesto Records. Beginning in the summer of 2010, the Turtles featuring Flo and Eddie toured the United States as part of the Happy Together 25th Anniversary Tour, an oldies concert series that continues to be known as Happy Together, and they're still going on today in 2021. They share the stage with Gary Puckett, Mitch Ryder, Mark Lindsay, Mark Farner, Gary Lewis, and Mickey Dolenz, as well as other 60s and 70s pop artists. The Buckinghams, Castles, Grassroots, and the Association performed on the 2015 tour. The Turtles' entire catalog was released in 2016 as 2 box sets. the complete original album collection, and all the singles. In 2017, enhanced editions of the 6 albums featured in the former were also released individually. Caitlin was unable to join the tour in 2018 due to heart and back surgery. Ron Dante, himself a successful session musician of the Archies, the Cufflinks, and the Detergents, stepped in for him. Jim Tucker, who was born October 17, 1946, died on November 12, 2020 at the age of 74. And that's what happened to the Turtles. And if you want your request done like 7 days a week, he was the one who requested this video. Let me know in the comments below. Give me some ideas on who I should do next on this channel. Thank you for watching, and if you want to remind yourself of some of the Turtle songs, I have a playlist on the screen that shows you some of my personal favorite Turtle songs while doing research for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.